Welcome along to the Soda Room.
It's that spine-tingling moment where you're actually numb.
It was like we had won the grand final.
Still, for me, that is the most incredible experience of my life.
My mindset is always moving forward, always sucking the marrow out of life.
What do you actually like about this music stuff? Because you're pretty angry.
On today's show, one of SA football's all-time great characters and superstars, Garey Window. He was the heart and soul of Central District in the club's formative years. He was captain in their first game, their first state player, and in 1965 he was the Doggies' first Magarey Medalist. Gaz played with a passion and enthusiasm that endeared him to the Bulldog faithful, and he then embarked on a media career that was characterised by his larger-than-life persona. At 85 years young, Gaz still spends plenty of time watching his beloved Doggies and is a regular fixture at their home ground, Elizabeth Oval. It's an absolute treat to have the great man as a guest on the podcast. Well, Garey Window, it's a pleasure to be chatting with you and in your home as well. So thanks for having me in here.
Fancy me letting you in here, Soda. I never thought this would happen.
It's brilliant. I love being in the house of a Doggies legend, mate.
No, you've done well. I wouldn't do it with a lot of people, but geez, you've done some good things for Centrals, and you know what it's like in footy. You've got to trust people, and when you said, I thought, geez, but it's good to have you, mate.
Good on you, mate. Thank you, Gaz. I'm really excited to do this because I know exactly what you're like, and I love your passion for footy now, and your passion and your link to the footy club is still so strong now, which is brilliant. And footy clubs are footy clubs. They're all great places, aren't they?
They certainly are.
There's something about the Central District Football Club, though. There's a real love about it. You obviously feel that because it's your club, but what does that club mean to you?
Yeah, you're dead right. You don't, as you get older, you think of it through these things. When you're coming all through it, you just have your ups and downs and sort of think, oh, that's football. But no, now as I've got older, and Centrals have been brilliant to me, especially since I lost my wife, Val. That club, the way they stood up to me, Johnsy, Kevin Johns come here, John Platten coming here to see you all right, go and have a coffee. Yeah. They've been absolutely brilliant. But the Dogs, you're dead right. I know what it is, so what's caused it, because they called us pommy bastards. When we first started, we didn't like it. A lot of the older Australian lads like myself thought it should have been called Salisbury. That's what we thought when it all started to come, but this Central Districts, and then the pommy people out there, Elizabeth, they followed us, and they were mad about it. We didn't realise, singing songs, and we weren't going that well, but they'd be in the club rooms buying you beers and scarves around you, and I think that's what built into us. We had this pommy bastards hanging on us for ages, and it built this ingrown thing, then we've got to succeed.
It's like that, obviously, the culture that all the English people would have brought over from their soccer.
That's right.
Those songs and those chants. And I think the other thing that I really love about Central is because it's such a new club, your original history is still with us today. And that's really interesting.
Very good point.
Because you can look at your Sturts and all these clubs, they're 100 odd years old. So the people that started it are gone. But people like yourself that created the club and all the first that you did, which we'll talk about, you're still here to talk about it. And I reckon that's so important to really promote for the club.
Yeah, I've wondered about that because we've had some beautiful shows out there, the Dogs. And you think, why do people now, even today, over the plaza, I'm there, an old bloke grabs it, Gaz, how you going? And they want to talk, they want to buy a coffee where you're sitting, and you think, well, like you said, so, because they still know, they remember us playing. A lot of the good clubs, Port Adelaide, all these Nord, the very strong clubs in the SANFL, they've all gone. I
imagine it's not lost on you, Gaz, is it that you were part of so many things that started that? I mean, you're like, if you look at Mount Rushmore in America and they put those presidents' heads up there, but you're part of the Mount Rushmore of the Central District Footy Club.
Yeah, but I can't handle that. That's all of you to say that, yeah. But
do you know what I mean?
I do.
It's true. You are.
But I'm not that. See, you know. If we go into, you'll know. I'm from a working class family, really working class, living in the cabin homes there at Salisbury by the Salisbury Oval. A bit of a larrikin, you might say. I'll go easy because I'm not going to kill myself with you, Soda. But then we were brought up like that, to just how to get in, hard things against you, but you had to do it. I remember, I know I'll start you off because you'll get into me later about that because everyone does. Platten does, they all get into me and about things like this. How did you get like you were? I had a dad and an uncle that in the backyard at Salisbury North Fair, when I was 3 and 4 years old, you had to go and get that hard ball. They'd thump you into the blinking tank stand and that. And if you grizzled, get up your weak little heap. And you're brought up with this type of thing to go. So in the end, all you ever want is and I've never worried about standing anyone, as I'll tell you as we go on, but because I think I've trained myself up enough, I can compete with anyone.
Yeah. Before we get stuck into the footy, I just want to ask you, as a young pup getting around that area, what was life like? What were you like? Obviously, Dad Clary played at Glenelg, and we'll talk about that, but what were you like as a young bloke growing up, just around school and home and life?
You'd ask me, I didn't like school. I remember chasing the kid to build me. I chased him with a cricket bat around, and the teachers didn't like that. I was going to kill him with that cricket bat, but...
Well, how old were you then, you reckon?
9 and 10. But I always was taught to look after myself. Dad always said, we're all born equal, but don't let anyone ever bully you. If someone bully you, you've got to thump him in the gob. Oh, right, Dad, that's what to go. And if the police got you, which they did when we used to pinch a few oranges down the creek, and the cop would bring you home, the old sergeant from Salisbury, but he'd bring you home, he'd whack you around, pull you home, and then Dad would give you a bloody hiding. Shocking. But that's the way things were in those days.
So did you get in a few little punch-ons in school?
Yeah, I won't tell you too much because I don't like the grandkids. They think I'm maturing, but yeah, I had a few. I got really belted once and picked on a bloke bigger than me. I thought I'll handle this bloke. He thumped the hell out of me. And mates there were standing me up to let the belt be here. I thought, you're nice and weak to let him go.
But like you're saying, it instilled something in you where you walked out on the footy field against legends when you were a young bloke and you could handle yourself.
Yeah, I've never worried about celebrity I love the players. Colin Churchill was my idol coming up because of Dad. I used to go down on the Bay Tram with Dad down and didn't sort of think he was as good as he was. I just went to the footy with him, but it was so good. But I remember Colin Churchill kicking all those goals. I've got to learn to do that.
Yeah.
The way he kicked them from every angle and didn't break under pressure. Always seemed cool. I'm not cool, but he could act cool at times.
Your dad, Clary, of course, played footy. He was a tough defender, wasn't he?
Yeah, real tough defender, yeah.
What was he like with instilling in you? You said, obviously, that he'd say, right, up you go, get into it. What was he like, though, crafting you into who you are?
Yeah, he couldn't have been any better, I think, because not pushy, not big-headed about it. He hate big-headed people. He used to get in me that you're just one of the boys. But you've got to train. If you've got a weakness, you've got to train to be able to do that. And he was a hard man, Dad, very tough, but such a good, fair bloke. And he was up there. He was as good as footballers. He played for Williston. All his brothers and that played for Williston up there in Gawler. He was a top cricketer, country cricket, carnivals and everything. And just what I got about Dad, he was so fair. He'd give everyone a fair go, and I love that. You got to be hard. You never give in, but you don't cheat or do anything filthy.
Was Mum pretty tough too?
Mum was brilliant. She wasn't tough, but she spoiled the hell out of me. I don't know. She must have loved me. She was brilliant.
The number one son?
Yeah.
Favourite?
Yeah. Mum would, people wouldn't realise that. Clean my boots, clean all my gear, have it ready, give me a steak on Saturday mornings to toughen me up for the footy. A steak, mind you. And she didn't have a lot of money, but she'd be over there butcher getting the best steaks for gear to have before footy.
Match meal steaks?
Yeah, steaks.
And it worked?
Well, it didn't worry you too much. You weren't allowed to grizzle in them days anyhow.
What did your mum teach you? What did you learn from her?
Again, anyone that come to our house was offered in, got a cup of tea, sat down. If any of the neighbours had grizzles or any prop, go to Mum. She'd help me out. She's one of those just healing type people. She was a nurse as a young girl, and you're just lucky the parents you're born with, and I won out there for sure.
Absolutely. Obviously, when your dad was playing at Glenelg, so you said you used to go down, you get the train?
Get the train into the city and then the Bay Tram out to the Bay Oval.
And you'd carry his bag?
Yeah, kit bag. Remember the old kit bags?
Yeah. So how old were you at that time?
What was that? So that's, oh, hell, you're getting back now. Yeah, 8, 7, 6.
Right. And it must have been the best day of the week, was it, for you on Saturdays to go down to Glenelg?
I only lived for it. He asked me a bit about school and that.
Yeah.
I thought, learning, what the snobs, what are you going to sit in here? I want to get out and play footy or cricket or belt someone up or go down the creek or do something, So it was, I was certainly into just sport.
So when you're going down with Dad to the games, geez, it must have been a big trek back then.
Oh, it
It was
was.
taking you, how long to get down, like a full day?
It was hard work. But Dad didn't worry, and he never grizzled about anything, Dad. But it was so good to see what he could do now. I think of him more now because he was hard to beat. He's called Sticky Fingers. One of those people, he had good hands and he had a good eye. Dad did playing cricket. That's why he was so good. But I think that it all with the Bays was so good to him too, the way they got him down there, the way they looked after us. But I think that hit me was you didn't realise it was so good till they played in that premiership in 1950. Where they got done by Norwood. But to Dad, that was the biggest thing that ever happened to him. And that year, he was lucky enough, that was the year that he got in the carnival side in Brisbane. And I think he got best on the ground in a couple of games out there. Poured, it's like in Brisbane, but he played well. But I've still got the big case out there they give him to go, the big leather case.
Yeah.
You get about 100 lots of clothes in there nowadays, but he was so proud of that.
So guess at that age, 7, 8, 9, that you're running around the Glenelg change rooms?
Yeah.
Well, it must have been awesome because you've got your dad's...
Alan Crabb, all those types there. Yeah, it was brilliant. But see, all I've used, I think when I look back now, because I'm not turned by celebrity, I'm still not today, but I do like to see good play and I try to learn from them. If I see someone like I said, Church kick goals, why is Lindsay Head so good? Always try to learn what makes they've got this. I mightn't be able to do that because he's quicker than me or whatever, but I can learn. I've got to kick better or I've got to do something better.
So as you were going through all your juniors, was it you just wanted to play footy like Dad? Was that your goal always, to play league footy?
I think, it started off like, I think in the end I wanted to be better than Dad, and I thought that had never happened. But I think that was always there. But it was just football. See, one thing, and the grandkids talk about it, they say how hard it is to get jobs, which it is, we know, and it's hard in life to get things. But I told my oldest granddaughter, I said, well, one thing with footy, I knew I'd train myself up so I could be competitive against anyone. That was something I could do as good as anyone, so I was going to make it work.
Yep. So at what age did you go, do you know what, I reckon I'm going to be able to make something of myself in this game?
Probably at that time, about 1950, Dad coached West Wyalla. And I remember up there as a kid, what was I then, 9 or 10. I played in the senior colts for West Wyalla. I've got photos in there.
So you're 9 or 10?
Yeah,
And
I'm playing with the big
17?
The huge, I remember the Rotnays and that up there. And I played, it didn't worry me at all, and they looked after me, but and I had a great show up there for Dad, in Dad's honour up there, and they were brilliant to me. But those type of things, but you're dead right. No, I knew, because I couldn't see myself doing anything else. Yep. But what you do is see, even when I got a job when I was in the PNG, right from when I was 14, left school and joined that, I remember being out in the backyard, kicking a ball against the wall for hours to see which way it bounced. What did it do? Why did it bang off there? Oh, that's what happens then. All the time to learn something, so that when you've played footy, and you had to, yourself, when you've got to have everything on your side when you play footy, but you can't let anyone beat you because they're doing something better than you. You'll get better players than you. Yep. See, you're talking about, I treat myself, there's millions of better footballers than me, and I was never going to be the best footballer ever walked, but I certainly could be competitive.
And get the best out of yourself.
Exactly.
So you end up at West Adelaide playing your junior footy.
Only for that 1 year.
Yeah, but you obviously went pretty well, and
that was
you were ready to go.
Well, I said Jack Odie took a shine to me, and he was brilliant coach.
Yep.
Because I was training with the league side because I worked up at the line training school, and the head trainer there was from West Adelaide. He took me down there. They took me down there, and I'd catch a train home at nights. But they put me on the A-Go training list, and that year before Centrals came in, and it was brilliant. They were a brilliant club. I just really loved it there.
So you were at the point there where you're thinking, righto, I'm now training with the big boys. The next step is I'm going to be...
I wanted to play there, yeah.
And so who were the guys around that team who were in the A grade at that time as you were a young guy training, going, right, these are the big guns I'm training with?
I remember Ian Day mouthing off at me. Curly was there. They were a brilliant side. Costello, the way they trained got me, very hard side, and it was brilliant because, and that's what Jack said to me. I said, "Am I going all right?" Sort of thing. You just do what you're doing. And he'll just let me go, and you get in there in training. Don't stop. Just do what you're doing and going around. It was brilliant.
So tell us what happens, because Central come into the competition, and it changes everything pretty quickly for you. So how did it all roll out?
Yeah, it caused a lot of trouble because then 59, Centrals and Woodville are going to go into the seconds competition for 5 years before they play league football. So Dad says to me, we're not doing this. I said, no, I want to stay with West Adelaide because I reckon I'll be playing top footy before very long. And so that's when you talked about the money and that going around. There was a few paper bags going back and forth. Yeah. We tried to get 6 clearances off of Centrals so I could play for West Adelaide for that time till the Centrals played league footy.
Right, and you were happy to say, look, I'll come to Central, but you got to be at the league level.
Yes.
And clearly it didn't happen. So how hard did you have to fight? I mean, it must have been a bloody horrible time because you're on the verge of starting a great career.
Well, without being too nasty, and that's what I don't want to do here, at Central's that time, they didn't do it right. Now, but you'll always get this. Dad was a very popular sportsman in that era at the time, and you know how it works in those. He was a popular cricketer, the popular footballer, and then his son's there, and there was some people, and probably not their thrown into Centrals to get it all going. Now, whether they like me or not, I don't know how that goes into it. But if they'd liked me, I would have been in. I think everything would have worked out, but it didn't. Central always a battle from then on, and
right.
So that's why.
So essentially, what happens is a turnaround because of where you lived, and where were you living at that point?
Salisbury. We're in Salisbury North then.
So you're in Central Zone.
Yeah.
And the SANFL at the time make a decision. That's your zone. That's where you live. You got to come and play twos there, rather than play league footy somewhere else purely because we're going to build this club.
Exactly. Mainly it was Centrals then, no, and it got to Centrals then. I'll give them that in. They came to me and said, you'll be the first player picked for Centrals. So I was their number one choice. And I thought, oh, hell, And that's what happened in the end because that when was that? 59, when I played for Salisbury North. I got my first job with the PMG at Port Pirie as a lineman. And I was travelling back to Adelaide because I had my girlfriend then, Val, back into Salisbury North. And I played for Salisbury North, which was good. But Centrals then came to me that after that year, before 1960, and we want you to come back. We'll get you a house at Elizabeth.
Yep.
All the trimmings. And I thought, this is stupid. I shouldn't be playing for Salisbury North.
Yeah.
So I accepted their offer. I thought, well, I'm going to play 4 years of the seconds.
So how did they entice you? They gave you a house?
Yeah, they got the house.
That's not bad, is it?
Yeah. It was really good. They all loved it. Come back to Elizabeth.
So they essentially gave you a house to come and play?
Yeah. So that was brilliant. And then we settled back in there.
No salary cap to worry about?
No, nothing in place.
Any paper bags floating around back then? There would have been a few.
There was a few. There was a lot of paper bags in our day. That was good.
So they give you a house and you come back and you end up playing twos footy. You would have been watching a lot of league footy at the time as well. Was it tough? Was it frustrating?
Yeah, it only was. I suppose it is because you want to be amongst that. You know you can do it. See, it's. But I did enjoy the reserves them days, and that was our A-grade side at Central, by the way. People don't realise that. We're playing in the reserves, but for those 4 years, it was our A-grade side. We had a B-grade side playing in the Central District Association up there. Yep. But so you're in your A-grade side, you had a state game every year. They'd really looked after you. It was really, they had their own committee then, the seconds.
Yeah. Right.
And it was brilliant. Every year we went to Port Lincoln. We had we even had a game up at Broken Hills. Tex Walker was telling me his dad played against me up there. He reckons I was real B.
Right, right.
But
so there was a state reserves footy
every year.
Yeah, and that was a big deal, obviously.
It was a big deal, yeah.
Right.
And that kept you interested. But I was disappointed because you should better play at the level you think you can play at, and then Well, then the best thing was happened when 64 came,
Yeah.
and we were in the league, and that was good.
You obviously were the first captain because Kenny Eustace couldn't get his clearance through, could he? So
Yeah,
his
bad
coach
was
they
that.
wouldn't let him play.
They wouldn't let him play. Westies wouldn't clear him.
So but just before we get to that, you win the Reserves Magarey Medal in 63.
Yep.
So great, because you were playing at the highest level you're allowed to, and you won the medal, and you got close a couple other times, didn't you?
Twice, yep.
So while you're playing reserve footy, you're one of the most dominant players. So when you get to 64, tell us what it was like when you knew, because it must have been like this enormous build-up. You've been waiting for years for this moment.
It was amazing just to be there and to wait till the season started was amazing. It was probably the best time ever for Centrals because even though we only had all local lads, Jeff Daly, Mick Daly's, all these lads from around they did the wrong thing, but see, they weren't into it as they are nowadays about the players you need. And, well, we only got Eustace. They did a good job getting Ken Eustace to coach us. He was the only player with any
Real clout.
He was good.
So you didn't get all these allowances to try and...
There was nothing.
Is it none of that stuff?
We just got there and away you go.
Geez, you must see when GWS and the Suns and all these guys come in with all this, you must sit there and go, my God, look at all of this stuff they're handed.
And because now you got our players, and we got belted there, a lot of them. And we played some good games, but we got done, and that was really hard to take.
Tell us what it was like for the community as you're building up to that first league game. What was it like in the area? It must have been really amazing.
Oh, it was sensational. See, it's right through Gawler, Barossa, Salisbury North, Elizabeth, Salisbury, all these areas. They're right with you. Our team's in there. You can see with Tasmania coming now what it'd mean to those people. And you know what footy's like. We can tell by the gather round and that's here now. Footy builds it, and we've had it all our lives with this, and we had it at Centrals because of that, and built into it. People, you feel, gee, well, why are they saying that to me? But they were that behind you to get in there and succeed. And as you know, for a long while, we didn't succeed.
Tell us about that first game. So you played against Torrens at Thebby?
At Thebby.
Because Elizabeth wasn't ready.
Wasn't ready, Rep.
Played for half a year.
Half a year.
Yeah, until they got that ready. So tell us about that first game. I no doubt remember it well.
Oh, do I what? Because I knew it was going to come, and I thought, here's young Gare's going to be, I'm playing centre, and I'm going to be standing Lindsay head in my first game. That's going to be real good fun. And we're not like to be kicking too many goals. But when it was funny, you say about it, because you can see it now. I thought this would be no worry, I'm going to get a few kicks. Lindsay had 4 kicks before and yours even playing. Because they used him up, a bit like the Dacos thing today. They're teammates, and they're a good team then, Torrens, and Lindsay was brilliant. Like, they could handball over your head, do him away, and then he'd make you look silly. 45-metre car pass, hit someone on a goal. Oh, I'm standing him. So you had to I learnt early, well, I had to tighten up, and you've got to try to stand him and cut it out. But
So obviously he starts amazingly. You're absorbing everything and soaking it in. At what point in the game did you start to go, right, now I know what I'm doing. Now I've got to get in. Now I can see what he...
It was probably pretty early in the first quarter because he was getting too many touches. And I thought, I can't play this way. We're not going to attack too much. No good me as a forward. As a centreman, I used to like to run forward and make space for people, but I'm going to have to be defensive. I've never done that before. So you've got to adjust your game to think, well, I've got to stand him. That's all it is. Still didn't do too good. He's still got tons of kicks, but I got a few too.
You would have learned a bit being on someone like that though, wouldn't you?
Oh, you learn how close you've got to be. You can't give him a yard. And he didn't like it. Lindsay, give him a couple of elbows in the guts and tread on his toes and try to annoy him. You've got to do that with the good players. And they don't, come on, Gaz, cut it out.
As we mentioned a little earlier, you were never intimidated. You had that self-confidence to look after yourself. So when you're up against someone like that, one of the greatest players of all time, and you didn't have any fear?
No, but I think it's probably a wrong question because how could I have any fear playing football? Because you've done it 2-year-old.
Yeah.
And I trained for that. I suppose because of Dad being what he was, and he's such a terrific footballer, I knew that, and I probably had that, I want to be better than him. And I trained that way from a little kid. That's all I ever thought of. If I was running in to catch a train to a couple of miles along the Salisbury Highway there to catch a train, I'd go flat out and think, I've got to go harder than this because I've got to beat everyone. So I want them quick, But you knew you had to get the ball first. You knew you had to do things. So everything was revolved around footy. If anything happened, you'd work it out of footy. If I bumped into something, geez, that was weak, I should have hit that harder. Or, if I fell off the bike, no, Grizzly, you wimp, what'd you do? And it was all about getting tough for footy.
Yeah. You played state footy in that first year?
Yeah, Foss put me in there in 64, yeah.
That must have been a great feeling.
I can't believe it still.
Yeah.
I still can't believe it, how he could do that. And that's why I've been lucky. And I think it was probably because of what happened. We couldn't get into league till 64. Bob Simonson was the same, but Woodville had been aside for years, but he was in there, and Captain Woodville, terrific player. And I always felt sorry for him. He's a brilliant player, should have been playing all those years. And then, but for when I got in there, and then Foss, it was so brilliant. And I think in that my first one at Adelaide Oval, I always remember that, John Howards in the centre. And me being like, I thought, shit, geez, I'd not ever go in there. I was half forward. But I knew I was from a little club and just getting in. But halfway through the game, and we weren't going that well, Foss comes up, Gaz, we're going to put you in the centre. We're going to try, John's going to kick a couple of goals, which he did at half forward, and we won the game. And I played pretty well, and I was wrapped with that. Darryl Hicks played in that side. And I remember the Centrals, you'd lead from half forward or centre to ball would go 10 yards over your head. Yeah. Oh, right, fair enough. This day, I lead from half forward. I remember that. Hicks gets the ball at half back, and I thought, oh, lead to him. He's a pretty good kick. Knocked me over, straight on the chest. What a kick. And that's the difference in that level. And it brings you up again. You see the standard of the people around you. It was brilliant.
You become the first Magarey medalist at Central. So you're first captain, obviously, because Kenny couldn't.
Yeah.
You get to do all these first things. First state player for Central, and you win that Magarey medal in 65. Now, obviously, curls wasn't
That
happy.
was, I don't blame him.
Kenny Eustace was there as well, wasn't
Yeah,
he?
third, yeah.
Yeah, so
We were going to Kenny Eustace's house that night. We thought he had it won. I was at the show. Colin Richards from Galil seen me at the show. It was pouring. And I had the kids there, and Gaz, you going home? It was first time it was on TV. The count was only, where they put up the names. No one in there, just they did it on TV. Put the names up as they were called out on TV.
previous to that, it was always just radio.
Yeah,
wasn't
just
it?
radio,
So
yeah.
everyone could listen to the radio as they called them out.
Yeah, it's.
So you're at the show, and what happens?
I was at the show, and Colin Richards said, at the back pocket for Galil, he was a terrific lad. He said, why don't you get on and have a look? You'd have a show. I said, no. But I said, we reckon Eustace is going to knock it off, no worries. So I went home with all the kids, took them home. Well, then it was just pandemonium after that because I was in with a chance. And you say I usually don't get nervous about things like that. I was shaken because I was up the top with Ken Eustace, Neil Curley, and I'm up around that still when it's getting near the end. And I thought, oh, no, I couldn't. What's going to go on here? I still think it's disgusting what they did to Neil Curley. How would you better put up with that? The last vote of the night,
Yep.
I'm 2 votes down from Neil Curley's winning the medal. Went through the votes, they leave mine to last. So 3 votes, G. Window, Central Districts.
Well, clearly they're looking for the drama. It's on TV.
You've hit it on the head. People say that to me, and girls said it. It's nothing to do with me. It was brilliant. But here's me. You can imagine sitting there, or just shot. And I've never felt like that in my life. It couldn't be true. And there was cops knocking on my door. Elizabeth City Council brought all their kegs out of the thing around to our house. It was amazing.
So who was home that night?
Most of the mum and dad and all of us were there. My brother's one, he rang me from Darwin. I hung up on him, but there were all the journos, everyone. And everyone from Elizabeth was there. That whole, you couldn't get in the street. The cops had blocked it off. Ambulances there, just drinking, and not the ambulance drivers, they wouldn't be drinking.
Awesome.
And next morning was the funny thing, to wake up with some of the good journalists around Adelaide. One was laying in the bath, couple down the back, we found them there now.
Really?
It was amazing.
A huge night.
Huge night.
When they called your name, can you remember the moment? when you saw it come up that you got those 3 votes?
Yeah, I definitely can. That's what I really can.
What did it feel like?
Unbelievable. Just it couldn't happen to me. As I said, that's one thing with all my confidence over the years playing footy and getting out and then doing it. This was too big. I mean, I just couldn't believe that I could do that. It still shocks me today, but the best probably thing that's ever happened.
What a wonderful situation to have that opportunity in life, to feel that.
You're dead right. I've never thought, but it is. Definitely right.
Because you are...
I still get pins and needles now.
Yeah. No, it's fantastic. Did life change after winning a Magarey medal at that point?
Yeah, it does, because people, I think it's the respect they show you. I did a lot of work for the SANFL and the advertiser doing the advertiser coaching schools. And I noticed from then doing it, going around to the schools all over the state. We even went to the Northern Territory when we were trying to get the Northern Territory into South Australia. But when the kids and the people there was that other little bit extra on there now, but he must know sort of thing. He's won a medal.
Well, I can imagine now, because even, Gaz, at your young age now, anywhere you go and anything you do, people still introduce you as Magarey Medalist Gary Window, don't they?
They do.
It's linked to your name forever.
Yeah, it's a big thing, and it's a big thing in South Australia. And people still, and it's great to see. I always said to Cornsey, when I stopped working the media, I said, you've got to keep the SANFL going, It means so much to so many people. And I can tell by the people that still talk to me about the footy and that, they love it, and they love that SANFL, so do I.
Hey guys, thanks for listening. Just letting you know that here at the Soda Room, we believe that everyone has a story worth telling. That's why we've launched the Soda Room Legacy Films, a deeply personal storytelling experience designed to capture the voices, memories and the personalities of the people who matter most to you, your family. Our legacy films are professionally crafted interviews and visual stories that preserve the wisdom, the humour, history and traditions of those that matter most to you. To find out more, search thesodaroom.com.au. Now, back to the podcast. So tell us over those next couple of years with Central, because obviously you ducked off and played elsewhere for a little while outside of the comp, but just as you've won a Magarey medal, things are progressing, the club's becoming bigger, you got all these local singing songs. Was there a Gary Window song? Was there a Gary Window chant?
Wasn't too good. We better not go into that.
They must have had a Gary Window song, wouldn't they?
But there was a few expletives in there. Val used to always say I was shocking because I used to swear too much, and I did, so
but that's
cut
passion.
that out. Yeah.
That's passion. What was it like with Central during that time then, as you're starting to find your feet as a footy club at league level?
Well, we thought we was going to start to get somewhere then. 65 was pretty good, and when we started winning games and that, you could tell, as you all know, once you start winning, if you get that confidence. But it's hard to do that, as you know, in teams. And I've coached teams and that thing. Why can't you do it? If you haven't got the players and things don't gel as good, you can't get it. And you see the good sides, they can put it all together. Yeah. It's brilliant. But Centrals were going somewhere. You could tell that. They always had that feeling. And all the administrators, I always remember it'll come. I had mates who were with the Central districts. They've passed away now. Ron Whittaker won. He never saw Centrals playing a premiership. And he would have, we're going to have it. I thought in the end, and then 2000 come, we won one ball. It was unbelievable. It's all worth it then.
You obviously, while you're at the height of playing great footy, you stopped playing SANFL footy in the SANFL. What happened?
How far will I go with you, Soda? That's the thing with all this. I was a players rep on the committee at that stage. And we had good players coming in, getting a lot of money. And I said to Centrals, well, I'm a local, I should be part of this. And we'd like to buy another house up here. Yep. I think it was only £100 deposit or something, wasn't a lot. Yeah. But they wouldn't do it. But anyhow, regardless of that.
So they're bringing players in, fork and coin out.
Yeah, which is what they have to do. Yeah. But I knew about it because I was on the committee. So and I think, well, I'm not getting any dough. I'm just getting me $2 a week or whatever it was.
So can you share us, what were you getting paid to play league footy? Was everyone on the same amount?
Yeah, well, everyone was the same amount.
And what was that back then?
Nothing. Yeah, it was just, a couple of quid. It seemed to be not much.
Yep.
and which it wasn't, because everything was different then altogether.
Of course.
Must be more than that, because I find it hard with the figures now.
Yeah.
But
So, for example, if you're getting that amount, they're bringing players in and they're paying them, how much more were they what were they throwing out?
big. Yeah, well, they get thousands. You're on tens, sort of thing.
Right.
So it's a big.
Well, that's understandable that you're going to be pissed off by that.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're such an important part of the club. Do you know what I mean? I get it. You know what I mean? And like nowadays we see what goes on, it must make your mind boggle. But
Yeah, but I did the same thing here.
Yeah.
But even though I've found out a different story about it now, but I get a phone call from, hell, see, that's the old days.
Gambia was
East Gambia.
Yep.
Alan Scott.
From Alan Scott
Yeah.
Transport. Right. So he gives you a call.
He gives me a call, says, we're looking for a new coach for next year. So I said, no, I'm not interested. I'm just started playing league football. I want to play league as long as I can. No, we were going into this, but I had a few, not problems with Centrals, but I thought they weren't really into me like they should be. So he said, well, I'll give you a day. All right, I said, no, I said to Val, we had no money in the bank or anything, 4 kids. I remember that, we had no dough in the bank, 50 quid or something. And I said, well, I probably should look at this, but
So how old were you guys at the time?
about 26.
Right. So in your peak.
Yeah, I was right.
Yeah, right.
I was right at my best then. And, then he calls me again, Alan. No, we're going on with this, and we'd like you to come down and have a look. We'll fly you and your wife down and have a look. And I'll see, what money are we talking here? And it was $3,000 or something, whatever it was. I know it was just as much as the league coaches got in Adelaide.
Wow.
And
Yep.
so I said to Val, we should look at this. Anyhow, a lot went on at that stage, but I said in there, I get pretty dirty at some things. So I said, no, we'll go and have a look. I said, I don't really want to do it. I don't think it'll come off, but they were brilliant to it. East Gambia were a brilliant club. Down there, they really looked after me. But they paid me big dollars and shifted us down there. But the thing that I went for, because the PMG, Telstra then it was, they let me transfer down there for the 2 years I signed, and they'd bring me back afterwards so I could keep my super going for, which was brilliant. But I spent 2 years down there. Brilliant. I wasn't a good coach because there's so much you've got to learn about coaching, and we tried to get them going, but we were playing the finals a couple of times. Terrific competition, 6 Victorian sides, 6 South Australian sides. But for me, it's no good. I did my D down there, but those blinging grounds down there, they cover their pitch up with sand.
Yeah.
I went on there and did the cartilage, and it was never as good. But
Geez, it must have been a hard decision.
it was.
Did it?
I didn't want to do it.
Yeah. But clearly the money.
There's a lot more in it.
But
But there's a lot more in it I could tell you. And you might be reading between the lines. If everything was good as I thought where I was playing and that,
Yep.
you'd never do it, and it should never have happened. But once people don't give me that, not respect, but they don't give.
You honestly felt you weren't being rewarded for what you contributed.
No.
And that's fair enough. If you felt like that, and that you did it, and you think, I have no doubt that you made a decision for your family.
Oh, it was only for the family. I knew I could make money out of footy there. This would be the best I could do, and I thought, this will be all right. We wanted a house, another house, so they've got a house and a car while we're down there. So,
Just on that though, did any other clubs in the SANFL come knocking around that time? Yeah. Because I imagine if Central are paying all these guys to come in, there must have been some other clubs going, and there'd be a bunch of other coaches you were playing against going, well, let's get Winder.
yeah, there was a couple of clubs, but I didn't want to do that.
Who came knocking? Because that doesn't matter now, it's so long ago, but who came knocking? Who was keen to get you there?
I think the Bays were, and there was I think it was someone else was there, they were putting, but I didn't want to do that.
So did you feel...
It's funny, I went back to Centrals in the end. Why I went back? Because when I went to East Gambia, they didn't give me a Provident Fund that I'd got for 3 years. So I said, well, I'll come back if you give me my Provident Fund, and they gave it to me. So,
and you went back after those 2 years. So did you feel that there was more honour to go and play in East Gambia than there would have been? Because you probably could have gone to Glenelg for similar money, I imagine, would have you? been able to, or not quite?
I don't think so.
But it was still...
Coaching was the thing where you got the dough. But I wouldn't do that. I wasn't even interested in anything like that. That wasn't the big at all. It just, they want me to coach up there. And it just seemed, as I said, I did it for that reason, which is good for the family, but you'd never do it for football-wise.
Did you enjoy playing there?
Yeah, it did. They were very good. That competition, it's not there anymore. It's playing against Hamilton and Blinken and all those guys.
Casterton, all
of them are brilliant. Did they get India?
Yeah.
They stand with me because they thought he could have a name. So
Well, you got the Magarey Medalist.
yes, so they all.
But you got the Magarey Medalist from, you're not a hack that's now 34 trying to get money. You're in your prime.
Yeah, they bloody India. It was good.
Did you just sign for the 2 years?
Yeah, 2 years. Yeah. They come at the end, but I was never going to. I don't have enough 2 years. I thought I'd done that and come back from one of Scotty's woolshed things one night. I was half under the weather on the back seat.
Yep.
Well, they were driving. Down there, those S-bends, the country roads, when you get there, there's a lot of gravel on all the sides and that. Once you're in there, you're in trouble. She must have got wide in the gravel, probably not happy with me, not driving that well. And down we went, wrecked the car off. I just remember going, whoop, whoop, whoop. Then don't remember, that's when I must hit the road. A call come through, the boys were telling me, the footy club, there's one dead on the road and there's a woman in the car. I was the one dead on the road. I was cut to shreds. But
So none of the kids are in the car?
No.
It was just you?
Val was pregnant, 2 weeks to go to have Paul, and she survived. Probably what saved her being pregnant. She was black and blue all over, but she had Paul, I think, 2 weeks later down the mount. So that was amazing.
Wow.
But the club was so good down there. The funny thing there with Alan Scott was such, you're not used to people like that can get anything done. I went to the insurance company, they weren't going to fix my car up, it was a write-off. And Alan Scott, give it to me, Gaz. He threw it on one of his big trucks and dropped it at the head office in town. It was fixed within a fortnight.
You had it with Paul? Was he a good fella?
Yeah, he was a very hard man. Yep. I got on well with him. He's
really good for you.
Straight. He's very straight.
Yeah, fantastic. So then when you come back, how did you go adjusting back into league footy? Was it straight into it, hand in glove sort of thing?
Yeah, it was all right. There's one worry about the footy. It was more the club. Dennis Jones was there then, and I don't think he didn't really want me back. I don't think he was trying to build a young side, and a bit of a pull there, but that was no worries. Played for that, I think, 69, 70. But yeah. No, I had no troubles coming back, but wasn't as good. The knee and that worry. I mean, once you get injuries and that, you feel as though you can't jump as good as you used to. It probably gets a bit of a drag. Think, oh, God, this is a bit harder than it was.
And then there's another first, because once you stop playing league footy, you coach the twos. You won a flag, didn't you? It's Central's first flag.
first senior flag. Yeah, that was amazing because it's just fun. I'm probably lucky. That's all I can think of what we've talked about today because
Well, not so much luck because you
but these things happen and
you've got to work hard to be lucky.
Yeah, I suppose.
You're probably right place, right time with a few of them.
Yeah, that's right. Because what happened? They offered me the job. Because they dropped me from the league side, going for this youth policy, and would you coach the reserves? I said, that sounds good. That'd be good. But I said, I'll play. So I thought I could teach the youngsters better playing, which worked out beautifully. It did, and it was such a wonderful year. It was just good to get that. And when it's the only premiership I've ever been in, that was fantastic and good for the club.
What was that like, premiership day? Because you playing coach.
Yeah. Oh, it's really good. But I love that. And that was that. Whereas when it even come to selection that night for the grand final against Sturt, who had good Zone Eddie, Bergen, some of those are in playing reserves. Thought we're going to be in trouble here, but young Craig Burton had been playing centre for us because I just used to back up. Remember those days you had the ruck rover type? I'd play defensive mode in that. Well, Craig Burton was terrific in our centre, and so the selector said, "No, you've got to go in the centre for the grand final." And I said, "Nah, we'll stick to what we've done. This lad's done well." We left him the first half, and everything was going reasonably well. About 3 goals down though, and we were the top side of the year. We're 3 goals down. I thought, like you do when you're coaching, you guess, geez, what's going on here? So it was I'll go in the centre. Put Craig Burton, he kicked a couple of goals in half forward. But I had a bloke playing for us, Central Speed, Rod O'Connor, came from Footscray for us, big, strong lad. And said to him at half time, Bergen and Zonetti, if you get near them, you've got to accidentally run through them because they're terrific players. Well, he did. He accidentally bumped into a couple of them on the way and got them stirred up. But, anyhow, we won the grand final, which was terrific.
If you think about your footy, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
I suppose really it's that first league game. Standing in Lindsay Head, I couldn't believe that I was going to do that. But there are a lot of things that stand out in games and that people you want to beat, and you do. I had a nice blue with Robert Odie at Elizabeth, was terrific. And I didn't think he'd punch me, but he did. I reckon he whacked me one, Robert, so I jumped on him and we had a bit of a tackle.
Well, he was taking the advice that probably his old man would have given him, wouldn't he? Like your old man gave you, don't let anyone bloody push you around.
That was the way it was,
Yeah. Was there one game that really stands out when when you're on?
There is one that stands out, and people wouldn't realise in those days, we used to play the Melbourne sides in pre-season games. For 2 years in a row, we played Footscray. Had good games against them. I remember they hated seeing the second game, the game I'm going to tell you about. They were amazed when they ran out. We had Dean Farnham, 6'10".
Yep.
Amazing. I think that's why we won the game.
Easy Farnham, one of the Central all-time great teams.
Dean Farnham, unbelievable, terrific bloke too. And so I'm standing, John Gillard, this Victorian halfback. That's all right. Come out, shake hands, no worry. I thought, well, got to give this bloke a go. But you never know how you're going to go. If you're in a good side or a bad side, you're not going to get your chances. But I had a day on that day. I kicked 7.
Did you really?
Kicked 7. And that I always remember that because I loved it against that opposition.
Yes.
And we beat Footscray in this pre-season game at Elizabeth, which was good.
Brilliant. So your time at Central, wonderful time.
Yeah.
I mean, because like you said, you were part of all that. And then as a dad, you get to watch your son Pete. He played league footy at Westies and Glenelg. What was it like watching him play league footy?
It's unbelievable.
Did you start to think a bit about like when you were carrying your dad back? Did that sort of start coming back when you're watching?
I think that's when it starts to come. You see the generations coming through, and there's got to be something there because they could all play. And Pete could play. He was very quick, Pete, and Steph played, but he wanted to go to Port Adelaide when I got sacked from Central. Zach plays in the kids because he played in the premiership. Stephen, the eldest lad for Centrals. That was when Alan Stewart was coach. That was good.
Yep.
And but then they wouldn't clear him, and he played for West Adelaide a few games there. Paul, the other lad, the youngest lad, he played reserves, his knee, but then now it's taken over the grandkids coming in, and that's another thing.
Tell me about the media, because but you're one of the absolute pioneers, and your passion and how you called footy was just so brilliant. You clearly loved it because you enjoyed it so much.
Best thing I've ever done. Other than playing, that was something I couldn't believe. I was lucky enough to get that job. Well, see, I was in the media all the time because even when I first started, Channel 9, Des Flavel got me in the Channel 9 footy show, which was brilliant. And I loved it, where I could talk and stir things up in there and get in the umpires and that. It was really good fun. And I think it started from there. And as it went on, I did a fair few bit of TV work. Then where'd it go from there? Was it 5AD, the first ones? Ian Aiken had to leave at three-quarter time to go and do his Channel 9 show. And I had to call on my own. I think it's the best thing ever happened. I could rave on and do what I like for the whole quarter.
All on your own?
Yeah, it was
one-man show?
Yeah, it was bloody brilliant.
You talking to yourself?
Yeah.
You loved it?
Yeah, it was brilliant. But no, the whole thing, the media thing's been brilliant. I love the media. And even with KG, working with all those people, talk back where you could rave on. You get a bit of trouble sometimes, but I think the best thing was even 5AA when we started that off. We had a footy show in the mornings. We used to tape that and then call the games, but it was so good. But then we called between the races there when 5AA first started off. There was races on. We'd be calling a game, have to stop and have a race.
Yep.
Then we'd call on. always remember that. And then, but then to go on with the media, as I say, I've always enjoyed talking, as you know. Not as good as you are. I'm no good at that frontman business that you do. No good at all. I hate that. But just to get in there and rave on, I'm all right.
It's brilliant, Gaz, and I think everyone sees your enthusiasm. It's still around the footy club now, you know, and I can remember when you got inducted in the Hall of Fame last year, when 24 it was, when Central created that. It was brilliant. And I think because, like we said earlier on, you're part of the very beginning of that club. So when you have a Hall of Fame and you introduced that a couple of years ago and you're the first person inducted, as you should be, it's pretty amazing because the beginning of the club is essentially here.
Yeah.
And that's great.
I think you're right. I didn't realise as much to now as even when I got number one on the fence out there. As you are, first one on the fence, you think, well, how did this all happen?
You're number one, player number one at league level as the captain. And I can remember at Central a few years back that they assembled all the Magarey Medalists. Now, not many clubs can sit there and go, well, let's bring all of our Magarey Medalists together because they're gone.
Exactly, that was.
And to have all of you in that one room, I think was one of the greatest football events I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, I would agree with you. To have them all there and you look back at the other clubs have gone, but a lot of them gone. We had them all sitting in there. That's brilliant.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? And that's something I think that's really special about your club in this moment in time that we all get to experience.
They caught up with it, yeah.
Which is really good. The grandkids, obviously, I was watching your grandson Hunter Window play the other day. He's come back to Central Melbourne.
Yeah.
He was bloody awesome.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Going really well after a little stint back at Sacred Heart.
Yeah, well, he's in the police force now. The academy, he had the academy the year he pulled out, which I thought was awful. But after playing in the grand final the year before, but he went and played amateur league, played well, and now he's back. It's good to see him back. He played beautifully.
He's doing really well, isn't he?
Yeah, he can play. Yeah.
And then obviously his sister Piper. She's bloody outstanding, isn't she? She's won the female equivalent of what you won. As a 17-year-old.
Yeah.
She's been terrific too. What's it like watching your grandkids as opposed to even watching your kids? Does it feel different?
Yeah, I think it is. It's because it's so far. It's feel you're a long way down the track now. You know, you come through with the kids, as you know. It's brilliant. You live for your kids. I was so busy then. I suppose I've got more time now to watch the grandkids. But Pete's kids, his 4 kids, Chase, Ryder. Ryder's got a bad injury at the moment. He got playing, but Piper and Hunter, they're brilliant. They're all brilliant kids. And to see Piper, you'd told me once, Pot, that I'd be liking women's football. I'd tell you to go jump in the lake. Women's football, they could never play it. It's too dangerous. They'd get hurt too much. And I've got a granddaughter who's really good. She's gorgeous and plays beautifully.
It's pretty amazing because you're getting to see, we saw that all start, women's football, you know?
Yeah.
What was it, 2017, when the AFL really kicked it up? And to watch that now and to see where she's going and playing AFLW, it must be a really strange feeling, I suppose.
It is. I still think it's hard on the women. I don't think it's a girls' game because of the injuries, but they're getting a lot, but still they are. But they show so much enjoyment for her. And I like Piper. She's tough.
Yeah.
I thought she's such a gorgeous-looking girl, but she is tough.
Well, there's one thing I reckon, Gaz, from all the women's footy I've watched, geez, they go hard.
Yeah, they do.
And I think maybe because a lot of them are now, they're growing up with it because it's been around for a while. But it was almost like because a lot of girls didn't grow up with football, when they got into it, they just went hard without even
there's no thought of
thinking yourself like we learned as...
Yeah, exactly.
They were just, hell for leather.
Oh, it gives you a lot of enjoyment. Watching it really does.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely fantastic. So I'm glad you're getting the chance to see them do well. Now, I've got to ask you, you mentioned this just before. You talked about when Central won that first flag in 2000. The run that the boys had during that time was ridiculous, wasn't it? The amount of success was amazing. As someone that was laid the foundations to watch what happened in 2000, what did it feel like?
Yeah, that was amazing. I think I nearly had a heart attack that day. I sat in the stand there. I didn't think we could do it. Peter Jonas, that was great that he was coaching that side. For them to do it was brilliant. You felt at last that it was all worth. You knew you thought you'd get there one day, but we hadn't. And then them to do it in 2000, as I said, Peter Jonas. I played Peter Jonas in his first game. I was coaching him, and he had to stand Russell Ebert. I always remember, and he did well too. That was brilliant.
Sounds like a young bloke standing Lindsay Headney's first game almost, doesn't it?
That's what I was coming back to.
Itself,
Yeah,
you know?
and he was brilliant. And but I suppose that from then on, and then to do what they did after that.
Yeah.
And what about those mongrel Gowns boys we got? The people who used to get in those mongrels. I said, yeah, but they were our mongrels.
Geez, they've been terrific. They've been actually fantastic, not just for your club, but for the whole league.
Unbelievable.
And I would imagine, and I obviously didn't get the chance to be a young bloke to watch you play, but the way they go about it and their enthusiasm, they remind me that they are probably in the Gary Window vein of football. You sort of see a bit of yourself in them, in the way they play and the way they are.
No, that's what I think I like them so much. They give it everything and have a go. They're really good lads and they have been so good for the club.
Yeah.
And coached very well. That made a big difference, and that they were a good team to do that, and for us to win those premierships. It just shows you every club never lose hope. You got to start somewhere, and you got to get it right. And I remember that when what's the name come to me? I can't remember Chrissy Grant's name now. That's old age. He come to me. They got a chance of getting a couple of lads from St Kilda, Gowans boys. They're twins. I said, you never get twins. You'll get one good one and one bad one. But he got them. Now they're both good, and that's probably the best thing. But we had Tom Grulich, I always thought was the best recruit we'd ever got in my time there. But these Gowans boys were a culture in themselves, and to bring everyone along with them as they have, and still around the club, they mix with everyone properly. It's been fantastic.
I think they are the players that every club loved to hate, but loved still.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's blokes you love to hate, and then there's blokes you love to hate, but you can't help but still bloody love them.
It's just amazing.
There's something about those boys and the way they go about it. And I always feel that they're almost like the modern day carry-on of what you are and what you were for the Central District Football Club.
I think Roy Laird was involved in that. They had the right coach too that let him do what. Well, it's amazing what they did.
Yeah.
But they were, it is unbelievable. And to do what they did, Roy deserves all the honour and credit for that, to build that culture that they did with those two lads. And Gowans boys, we love them. But I used to amaze me because how everyone used to rubbish hell out to me, and up you lot. Terrific. I'm glad we've got them.
Yeah. And I know identical twins are identical twins, but they are identical twins.
They are.
Yeah. But guys, thanks so much for sharing, mate.
No worries.
It's been really great hearing and understanding so much of your footy story, because like we said, you're such not just a huge part of the South Australian football culture, but I think it's just so good being able to hear the story of someone who's so pivotal in creating a football club.
It was been brilliant.
Yeah, good on you, mate.
No,
thanks so much, guys.
Thanks,
buddy.
Well done. Good job.
Well, thanks so much for listening. And if you love what you've heard, you can subscribe to the Soda Room podcast. You can write a review if you like, and share the show with your friends.
Just before we go, a big thank you to our friends at Wavell Hyundai, a family-owned dealership with a friendly, experienced team who genuinely care about their customers. Wavell Hyundai has got the best range you've ever seen. So if you're looking for a family car, Hyundai's range has got you covered. Everyday options to getting around town to big spacious SUVs like Drive's Car of the Year, the Santa Fe. Comfort, safety and space for the whole family. Go and visit the team at Wavell Hyundai. You can find them just opposite the Adelaide Showgrounds on Goodwood Road. Wavell Hyundai, driven by Australian Motors.